Many of us stay informed about current events by turning into radio news or catching snippets of TV broadcasts or reading newspapers. However, a common issue with these news sources is their overwhelming focus on negative events. Illness, outbreaks, civil unrest, international conflicts, extreme weather, fires, crimes, corruption, and the like. Interestingly, bad news tends to grab our attention more than positive or uplifting stories. Today, though, we celebrate the bearer of a great good news, St. Mark the Evangelist. Papias, an early church writer, described Mark as an assistant to St. Peter in Rome, and Mark most likely helped translate Peter's Aramaic sermons so that the Roman Christians could understand them. And after Peter's death, Mark wrote down what he knew of Peter's memories of Jesus at the request of the Christians in Rome. And Mark's gospel reflects the plain and blunt speaking style of the Galilean fishermen, capturing the wonder and awe they felt when they witnessed the healing and the other miraculous powers of Christ. Isn't this the carpenter? Mark asks. Isn't this Mary's son and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us? He adds, when Jesus disembarked and saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, for that they were like a sheep without shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. Another instance, Mark says, they brought to him a deaf man who had a speech impediment. Jesus took him off by himself, away from the crowd. He put his finger into the man's ears and spitting, touched his tongue. Then he looked up to heaven and groaned and said to him, Ephphatha, be opened. And immediately the man's ears were opened, and his speech impediment was removed, and he spoke plainly. And in many instances, Mark says, they were on the way, going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus went ahead of them. Another instance, now a young man followed him, wearing nothing but a linen cloth about his body. They seized him, but he left the cloth behind and ran off naked. Mark's Jesus is blue-collared, compassionate, earthy, and constantly on the move. He is a carpenter who is not afraid to get his hands dirty by touching even bodily fluids and other people's wounds. Jesus is always on a journey, a step ahead of his disciples. So you feel an urgency in Mark's gospel account. And his followers are often confused, afraid, and in some cases run around naked. We see these themes in today's gospel reading too. And Jesus tells his followers that they too will get their hands dirty, touching serpents and laying hands on the sick. Jesus then ascends to heaven while his followers immediately get to work, preaching the good news. Nothing is known for certain about Mark's life, and according to the legend, he died as a martyr in Alexandria, Egypt, and during the Crusades, his remains were brought to Venice and placed in St. Mark's Cathedral. And as we celebrate the feast of St. Mark today, can we be inspired to act immediately and to get our hands dirty in preaching the good news? Like Jesus' disciples, we may feel confused and lost, but can feel the same compassion that Jesus had for his lost sheep. Pope Francis asked us to be humble shepherds with the smell of the sheep on our hands, and to work with urgency. The question is, can we do this? St. Mark, pray for us.